As we approach episode 191 of Kuruluş Osman, one of the most pressing dynamics that is likely to be explored further is the fragile balance of power not only between Osman Bey and his enemies but also within his own inner circle. The previous episodes have shown cracks beginning to form, not only in the unity of the Kei tribe but also in the alliance systems that Osman has worked so hard to build. The death of key characters, recent betrayals, and rising ambitions among allies all hint at a major shift. Osman Bey is expected to make increasingly difficult choices. With Constantinople's shadow looming over the horizon, the threats are no longer just military, they are political, cultural, and personal. We've seen Osman grow from a brave warrior into a shrewd leader, but now his leadership is being tested at a deeper level. It's no longer just about conquering land, it's about maintaining moral authority, ensuring the loyalty of his people, and safeguarding the legacy he's building for his children. A major plot twist could come in the form of internal sabotage. Several characters have been positioned in the story to play dual roles, allies in public but questionable in private. Turgut Bey, though loyal for years, may be pushed to the edge by his own ambitions or emotional wounds. Could he act in ways that unintentionally disrupt Osman's plans? Or is someone else, like Aladdin or a trusted commander, about to make a critical misstep? The show has always balanced themes of honor, justice, and loyalty with the harsh truths of political survival. In episode 191, we may see Osman forced to make a move that goes against his earlier principles, perhaps sanctioning an execution, revoking a Bey's authority, or striking a temporary alliance with an enemy. These are the kinds of decisions that not only cause ripples in the tribe but open the door for dramatic consequences in future episodes. There's also the matter of Byzantine activity. The Tekfirs, especially those who operate in secrecy, are not idle. In recent episodes, it has been made clear that the Christian lords are regrouping and planning a strategy to break Osman from within. They may not aim to strike militarily, but rather use spies, whispers, and gold to fracture Osman's support system. Could there be a betrayal from someone close to Osman, someone whose loyalty he never questioned? Another possible development is the emergence of a new character, either an outsider drawn to Osman's cause or a hidden enemy embedded in a neighboring tribe. Kuruluş Osman has a pattern of introducing key players in transitional episodes, and 191 might be the stage for just that. The new figure may carry a secret or information that forces Osman to rethink his current path. One of the most intricate dynamics in Kuruluş Osman has always been the shifting network of alliances that surround Osman Bey. These relationships, both external and internal, have been vital to his rise. However, in episode 191, we are likely to see those alliances tested in ways that could fracture the delicate fabric holding the Kei Beyliği together. Let's start with the most volatile front, the tribal alliances. The Kei are no longer a small tribe struggling for survival. They are now a dominant power with land, enemies, and responsibility. This has naturally created tensions with other tribes who feel overshadowed or left behind. Beys who once fought alongside Osman might now be questioning whether they are being rewarded fairly, or whether their own ambitions are being stifled. Characters like Çerkezoglu or other secondary Beys, whose loyalties have not been deeply explored, might take a more active role soon. Could one of them be secretly negotiating with a Byzantine lord? Or worse, conspiring to establish an independent claim to leadership within the Turkic Confederation? We've seen this theme play out before, but with Osman's increasing power, the consequences of such moves are far greater now. Female characters will also likely play pivotal roles in this episode. Bala Hatun and Malhun Hatun have always stood as symbols of strength and wisdom, but they too face their own tests. Bala's influence in the tribe's spiritual matters, and Malhun's political awareness, are bound to clash or converge as decisions with major implications are made. If rumors or conflicting strategies arise in the women's quarters, this could create tension that bleeds into the tribe's larger politics. Meanwhile, external alliances are even more fragile. In previous episodes, we've seen Osman make temporary arrangements with groups outside the Turkic world, sometimes Christian, sometimes Mongol-aligned. These kinds of tactical partnerships may resurface, especially if Osman needs an upper hand against the Tekfir's growing web of spies and sympathizers. A potential plot twist could be the reappearance of an old enemy, thought defeated or gone. Kuruluş Osman has a pattern of reintroducing adversaries at the perfect moment to heighten tension, and someone like Nikola's former allies or even a disillusioned Seljuk commander could re-emerge. Their return could throw all current strategies into disarray and force Osman to either compromise or risk a multi-front conflict. The concept of loyalty, both questioned and broken, will likely sit at the heart of this episode. Who stands with Osman not only in public but in private? Who is quietly keeping score, waiting for a misstep? And more importantly, will Osman be able to detect the betrayal before it's too late? There is also a strong possibility that we will see a more philosophical debate arise in episode 191. What defines justice in this new empire Osman is building? Is it still the same code that guided Ertugrul? Or has the path become so complex that morality must be negotiated? These questions may surface in the form of conflicts among Osman's closest companions, pushing the narrative beyond simple conquest and into the realm of legacy. In Part 3, we'll dive deeper into potential Byzantine counter-strategies, the psychological evolution of Osman's sons, and what episode 191 might reveal about the future of the state Osman dreams to build. As Osman Bey tightens his grip on Anatolia, the Byzantine lords, though seemingly scattered, are not passive observers. Historically and in the narrative of Kuruluş Osman, they have never relied solely on brute force. Their true strength often lies in manipulation, espionage, and psychological warfare. Episode 191 is expected to further explore this layered threat, where swords may not clash, but lives may still be lost in the shadows. We've already seen signs of renewed Byzantine coordination in the last few episodes, whispers of secret councils, messages sent through disguised merchants, and the reactivation of sleeper agents in key Turkmen towns. These are the indicators of a larger strategy. Episode 191 might finally unveil a long-laid Byzantine plan not to kill Osman on the battlefield, but to discredit him among his own people. This could come in several forms. One likely scenario is the use of forged documents or planted rumors, perhaps suggesting Osman has betrayed an oath, kept hidden treasures for himself, or made secret deals with Mongol elements. These falsehoods would be especially dangerous if leaked at the tribal council level, where trust is the currency of power. Another psychological move could involve Osman's sons. Orhan and Aledin are stepping into larger roles, and the Byzantines may see them as vulnerable targets, not physically, but emotionally. A betrayal disguised as an alliance, a feigned offer of peace to divide father and sons, or the manipulation of a younger warrior in Osman's circle to create tension, any of these would strike at the unity that sustains Osman's leadership. One pressing question is, will the Byzantines act alone? Or could they find an ally among the disgruntled beys or power-hungry figures from within the Seljuk administration? History shows that empires often fall from within, and the show has consistently portrayed the Seljuk realm as politically fractured. A high-ranking Seljuk figure, perhaps someone with religious authority, might be persuaded to denounce Osman in public, creating an ideological crisis that 1,000 swords cannot solve. And what of the Tekfurs? Their tactics are evolving. We may see them orchestrate fake raids on villages, only to blame the attacks on Osman's forces. Such deception would serve a dual purpose, alienating local populations from Osman's rule and framing him as a warlord rather than a just bey. Could this be the beginning of a larger campaign to paint Osman as an outlaw in the eyes of neutral tribes? The series also has a tradition of inserting personal stakes into broader conflicts. Could a character like Gonca Hatton or even a trusted advisor fall victim to a Byzantine trap, triggering a vengeful response from Osman that risks compromising his public image? This is the kind of moral dilemma that Kuruluş Osman has explored masterfully, the cost of revenge when justice demands restraint. In the broader thematic scope, episode 191 may mark the moment when Osman begins to realize that he is no longer just a tribal leader or a warrior, he is a symbol. And symbols are the first targets of propaganda. This episode could show him wrestling not just with his enemies, but with the burden of being perceived, by friend and foe, as the embodiment of justice, unity, and destiny. As Osman Bey's empire expands and the threats surrounding it multiply, the series increasingly turns its focus toward the next generation, Orhan and Aledin. These two sons, different in temperament and vision, are not merely heirs, they are mirrors reflecting the complexity of their father's mission. In episode 191, we can expect a deepening of this generational theme, where legacy is not just passed down, but questioned, challenged, and shaped. Orhan, the elder son, has shown signs of a growing tactical mind. His battlefield awareness is improving, and his confidence has reached new heights. Yet there is a risk in that confidence. Orhan still lacks the long view, the strategic patience that has come to define Osman. If episode 191 places Orhan in a position of independent command or negotiation, we may see him make a choice that, while brave, is politically dangerous. For example, launching a raid without Osman's approval, or speaking too freely in a diplomatic meeting, could spark unintended consequences. On the other hand, Alaeddin is emerging as the more measured, scholarly counterpart. His understanding of law, history, and religion gives him an aura of wisdom beyond his years. But in a world that rewards action, can he find his place? Episode 191 may begin to hint at a coming ideological divide between the brothers, one that reflects the dual nature of leadership itself, sword versus pen, conquest versus consolidation. This generational conflict doesn't have to be explosive to be meaningful. It may unfold subtly, in council meetings where they disagree, in moments when Osman is forced to choose whose advice to take, or in how they react to the death or fall of a key figure. What if Osman starts leaning more on Alaeddin's counsel in public? Will Orhan feel overshadowed? Or what if Alaeddin is tasked with delivering a harsh judgment, and he refuses? These small cracks could grow over time. Let's also consider the psychological weight the sons are carrying. They are not just living under Osman's shadow, they are living in the mythology of Ertugrul Gazi as well. Alaeddin, in particular, may struggle with the expectations placed on him as the moral son, the one who must preserve the ethical legacy of both his grandfather and father. Could this pressure lead to hesitation at a critical moment? Or worse, could someone manipulate that idealism to weaken the family's authority? Meanwhile, Osman Bey must navigate his own emotional tightrope. How does a father groom his sons for leadership while still asserting his own dominance? If he gives them too much power too soon, he risks rebellion or chaos. If he holds on too tightly, he stifles their growth. Episode 191 may see Osman grappling with this, possibly through a symbolic gesture, such as appointing Orhan as the leader of a campaign, or assigning Alaeddin to resolve a tribal dispute on his own. But here's a deeper question: is Osman ready to begin letting go of control? If the episode hints at any health issues, emotional fatigue, or spiritual reflection, it may signal the start of a slow transition, not a formal abdication, but the beginning of legacy building in earnest.